Good day, everyone. We continue with the lies in the textbooks and we'll tell you a little more about the Peppered Moth fraud. Just make sure that you watch the previous videos in this series as they follow on each other. Please subscribe, like, and share these videos as much as possible. Let me give you some background. James Hutton wrote a book, and people began to doubt that the earth was 6,000 years old. Then came along Charles Lyell, and he wrote a book, and people began to doubt that the flood formed the layers. Then came along Charles Darwin, and he wrote a book, and people began to doubt the Creator. So in the mid-1800s, the world had a problem, because if God does not exist, then who's in charge? Hey, it must be us. We are in charge, right? And so rose all the isms like humanism, communism, Marxism, Nazism, socialism, etc., etc. All these lies are still in the textbooks today. Paul said, Timothy, you be careful of science, falsely so called. Evolution is not science. Evolution is a religion. Hitler said, let me control the textbooks and I'll control the state. Professor Wilson from Harvard University said, as were many persons from Alabama, I was a born-again Christian. When I was 15, I entered the Southern Baptist Church with great fervor and interest in the fundamentalist religion. I left at 17 when I got to the University of Alabama and heard about evolution theory. First year in college ruined his faith. Many people lost their faith due to lies in textbooks and the teachings of Hutton, Lyell, and Darwin. Even Charles Darwin, Michael Shermer, Tom Hanks, John Templeton, Frank Zindler, Matthew Rainbow, and many, many more. There are kids doing homework and studying while you watch this video, and this homework are destroying their faith. 75% of all children raised in Christian homes who attend public schools will reject the Christian faith by their first year of college. What are in these books that they are teaching our kids? Well, they tell them that they have evidence for evolution. And here it is. Evidence from fossils. Anybody with half a brain knows that fossils cannot be evidence for evolution. Bring some bones into a courtroom. See these bones right here, Your Honor? These are the bones of the ancestor of everybody alive today. Any law student will be able to say, Your Honor, he doesn't know that those bones had any kids that lived. He certainly cannot prove that the offspring of those bones was a new and improved species. I mean, why would you think that bones that you found in the ground can do something that animals and people today cannot do? Fossils simply do not count. No fossils can count as evidence for evolution. They say that we have evidence from fossils, structure, development, molecular biology. The process of evolution is by natural selection. There is no scientific evidence to support evolution except for things that have been proven wrong many years ago. Evolution is based on two faulty assumptions. Number one, they say mutations make something new. That's never been observed. Number two, they say that natural selection makes it survive and take over the population. Think about this for a moment. If an animal evolves a little better than the rest, what must happen to the rest of them in order for this process to work? They all have to die, or else the genes get blended back into the population. So evolution is a religion of death, not life. The question is very simple. Did man bring death into the world by sinning, like the Bible says? Or did death bring man into the world, like evolution teaches? They are polar opposites, and one of them is wrong. This textbook says, mutations are the original source of variation in populations and as shown by the many varieties of roses available. I agree. They are saying that all the varieties of roses are mutants of the original rose, and I agree. It is still not evolution. It is a variety of rose. Mutations do not cause any kind of evolution. Pierre-Paul Grass believes in evolution, and even he says that mutations do not produce evolution. Here is a 5-legged bull. This is a mutation. Notice, he did not get any new information. Getting an extra leg is not new information. It is a scrambling of the existing information. See, the bull already have legs, so he just made one in the wrong place, that's all. Here is a short-legged sheep. That's a mutant. No new information is added though. That is a loss of information, and he will be the first one that the wolf is going to catch. Here is a 2-headed turtle. That is another mutant. Not ninja, but mutant. He will probably not make it on his own in the wild. See, mutation is scrambling existing information. It's not adding new information. If you scramble the letters in the word Christmas, you can get all sorts of words like Christ and Sam and so on. But you will never get new words like Xerox, zebra, or queen. You can only get these words if you add new information or letters. This textbook shows the kids a 4-winged fly. Look what it says here. Normal fruit flies have 2 wings. This mutant has 4. This rare mutation, like most mutations, is harmful. Now watch this carefully. It goes on and says, beneficial mutations are the raw material for natural selection. Excuse me, teacher. Why don't they give an example of a beneficial mutation? Why do they show us a bad one and then tell us about the good ones? You see, beneficial mutations are pure imagination. They don't exist in reality. You have to imagine that they do. The evolutionists believe that there is an example of a beneficial mutation, and they will always bring this one up when they talk about this topic. They say that people with sickle cell anemia in Africa are less likely to get malaria. Sickle cell anemia is a blood disorder where the sickle cells die early and can also get stuck in the blood vessels, causing pain, infection, acute stress syndrome, and strokes. So, saying that sickle cell anemia is a beneficial mutation that prevents you from getting malaria is like saying cutting your legs off is beneficial in that you can't get athlete's foot. This textbook says natural selection causes evolution. No, it doesn't. Natural selection selects. It cannot create anything. It only selects. If I decided to create a race of people that are 12 feet tall and kill off everyone that are less than 12 feet tall, I will end up with nothing. Selection is not creation. I have no problem with natural selection. As Edward Blythe said 24 years before Darwin, Creationists have no argument with natural selection. We thought of it first. It is only a conservative process that removes defective organisms and keeps the species strong. This guy says, natural selection may have a stabilizing effect, but it is not a creative force, as many people have suggested. Don't let anyone tell you that natural selection creates. Why people can't see this, I don't know. Natural selection can act only on those biologic properties that already exist. It cannot create properties in order to meet adaptational needs. This textbook says that finches with larger and stronger beaks were better able to open the tough pods, so they survived. Evolution by natural selection had occurred in just 1 year. This is pure propaganda. It's still a bird, and it reverted right back to the standard after the drought went by. Part of the population already had the genes for tougher beaks. Natural selection does not lead to evolution. This is a lie. If you worked in a factory that made cars, and your job was quality control, you know, every car that goes by, your job is to weed out all the errors or mistakes. Even if you caught all the mistakes, how long would it take that process to change the car into an airplane? See, natural selection is the same as quality control. It doesn't create a thing. Survival of the fittest does not explain the arrival of the fittest. Think about that one. They tell the kids in school that the peppered moth is evidence for evolution. Yes, boys and girls, they counted the moths on the tree. Must have been a government project. They said that 95% of them was light-colored and 5% was black. Then they say that the trees turned black from the coal-burning factories and that they counted the moths and they found 5% light-colored and 95% black around those factories. It turns out that this was a lie. After 40 years of watching, they only found 2 moths on the trees. 2. So they glued dead moths onto the tree to make that picture, to lie to the children. By the way, survival of the fittest is what is called a tautology. If you ask someone why it survived, they would answer because it was the fittest. And if you ask them, how do you know that it was the fittest? They would answer, because it survived. Guys, if a whale goes through a school of fish and eats 80% of them, it's not survival of the fittest. It's survival of the luckiest, okay? Unfortunately, this is all we have time for today. Please like, subscribe, and share as much as possible to help my channel grow. We have a Skype Bible study session at 6 p.m. South African Standard Time every Sunday night. If you are interested to join, please pop me an email. You can find it in the description. Don't forget to leave a donation. Instructions on how to do so will follow. Thanks again, and God bless. Thanks for watching. If you enjoy our videos, please leave a like and subscribe. Don't forget to click the bell icon to be notified of our next video. You can help us create better videos by leaving a donation on Patreon. The link is in the description. Thank you. We hope to see you next time.